Day one of Warships is in the books, and we are going to show you a second tech tree just to keep things interesting. I'm Zedmod. Code Zedmod expires all of the times. Before we get into Warships, wanted to talk briefly about Mega Crab. It was ridiculous, like sheer ridiculousness. I used the attack strategy I shared with you guys on YouTube. I got to stage 253. That is not me doing anything but pressing the 3x mode button and the second wind button. Nothing else. Stage 253. So do let me know where you got to. I didn't check the global leaderboard to see where it ended up. That person coming out of nowhere. It was all Mr. Pietrek and Stoneheart all season long. And then Chinese Squiggles coming out and winning by, what is that, like 19.8% or something like that. That one hurts. GG, you guys. Stage 800 is sheer ridiculousness, and that's why I was saying grapplers over stage 100. Nonetheless, jumping into Warships, this one is in gold, and this one got to rank 15 with no rainmakers, with no zookas, with no flare, just scorcher rushing with speed serum. It was stupid. It was ridiculous. But it kind of worked, and then I lost some matches, and then that getting to rank 15 unlocked critter cannons for me, and then I lost some matches to some weaker players, and that all had zookas, and zookas save you so much GBE. Otherwise, you just can't drop. I don't have the GBE that is behind the rainmakers. I didn't have the GBE that is there, so now I'm gonna get this GBE, which should speed things up somewhat significantly. I am going to max my mortars first just to get a little bit more juice behind the goodness, and then we will see where we're going to go. Now this one's going towards 5 because the 5 engine room deck is frankly quite nice. My other account that is using rainmakers, I think I'm going to go get Rudero, and that way I can give you guys different perspectives. Anyways, I'll show you how I've been attacking. I think my best time is like a 319, which is pretty gosh darn quick. So I'm dropping the left-hand ramp first. Notice that I dropped 2 boats of zookas over there. That's because nothing over here required zookas. Usually I do 1 on each side because I didn't have the GBE to do all critter cannons. Then those zookas get shot in the face, and then all of our critter cannons just dropping critters every which way, I should say, and it's just a matter of figuring out which engine room is going to be taken down last and using speed serum towards that. So it's a balance between throwing speed serum on the critter cannons and throwing speed serum on the actual critters to speed them up, because obviously you need a bunch of critters, but then you need the critters to go fast, and you end up with this mixture of when to use it where. And so I use it on the critter cannons at the beginning to get them chucking like crazy, and then I start throwing it on the actual critters themselves. And I have tick 1 shocks, and those shocks are decent, and you're starting to see bases like this. And without flares, I can't tell you exactly why sometimes critter cannons fire at that engine room and sometimes they don't. I think you have to get a pixel perfect drop on your critter cannons, and I end up screwing it up a lot of the time. So this base is the one that puzzles me and gives me the most grief. And so what we are going to do here is exactly what I just talked about. We're going to send a zooka over there. We're going to send a zooka there. And then I'm going to try to get as pixel perfect as I can. And I only send 1 to that left-hand side because without flares, I just screw it up every single time, it feels like. So now we just hope that one of these guys starts chucking. Are you going to start chucking? Come on. I'm going to waste a speed. There we go. We actually got some value out of that, which is hugely important. I can't stress that enough. The number of times where I've dropped my troops on that left-hand side and gotten absolutely nothing out of it is way too high. And so as a result, I have screwed up that left-hand side almost completely. And now this attack's going to be super duper slow as a result. So, basically screwing up my attack because of fear, which is not a great place to be. And now we're just going to have to wait, and our time is going to be fairly slow. It's not like as slow as it would be if I was Like 3 minutes is not a super slow time, but it's not enough time to win. So Chicken Sucks. I think this is the first time I've ever lost to Chicken Sucks. Have beat that player so many times, and every time I do, I send a screenshot to Mr. Chicken because that user account name is just frankly obnoxious. So anyways, we shall carry on. And I don't know what it is. If you guys know the exact location or spot or mechanics, with flare it wouldn't be a big deal because your flare from this side would be able to help us out a little bit, but I just screw it up every single time. So now we're just going to get you guys over there and you over there, and then 1, 2 over here, 1, 2. And then I like to send some on that left-hand side because they end up chucking directly onto that shock launcher, which I find helps quite a bit. And then same deal on the actual details, and let's throw a shock there just to make gosh darn sure that all of our critter launchers are chucking on things, and we are starting to get rid of some things as I throw more shocks. I don't think this many shocks is super duper smart, to be completely honest, but I just want my critters to wrap around onto that back engine room so that I can throw a shock, or a what's the word for it? A speed serum on that actual engine room, and now we end up with the 311, which is much more tolerable. So having those buildings along that left-hand wall, if you don't have enough of them, you end up just getting crushed by critter cannons because you let the noobs like me just chuck across that gap. So zookas, I've actually lost to a couple people who actually get a bunch of value out of their zookas, and their zookas are actually shooting on things. I just don't have that kind of luck or skill or whatever it might be, so I end up just going for the zookas. All my zookas are doing is being fodder. That's all they're there for. And now let's put you way over there, just trying to get all of these guys chucking. And I'm hoping that those critter cannons are going to make the wrap, is what I'm kind of hoping for. Need them to start chucking. And then I'm hoping that some of those critters will turn left eventually. Whether or not that's going to happen, we'll have to wait and see. But it looks like they're all... Oh, there we go. See, like, that's where I screw this up every single time. I have no idea when they're going to start shooting on that one and when they're just going to sit there like absolute fools. So, which kind of makes me into the fool, I do suppose. So we're going to get that speed serum on those critters, get those guys just chewing away at that shock launcher, and now there's nothing I can do but wait, and we got a 308. Definitely need to be quicker than that. I should be more in like the 311, 315 sort of range. And you see these guys? Exactly the same. Had they have dropped up... Now, they won't retarget is the thing. Like, they get to the thing and they won't move over unless you flare them over there. And so you have to be really careful. And otherwise, you just watch your troops sit there and it's super frustrating. So I'm guessing 1XX shot does not have flares because they could have flared that left-hand screw bolt there. Moving up and just not really playing yesterday, which it was a mistake because I see a lot of people up in 17 at the second. And now I'm going to do the exact same thing we did last time. We're going to send all of our zookas over there, 1, 2, 1, 2, and then I can go something like this and then get all of our critter cannons just chucking. Need to get this side chucking, need to get this side chucking, and don't have to worry about that boom cannon. Yes, the mortar did do some damage. It looks like I've definitely lost some critter cannons, but I think we're going to be not terribly bad. And this is the first base that I've seen that does have green mines. So we're going to go something like that just to make gosh darn sure that all of our critters back there do stay alive. And we've only got a few at that back section. So I'm going to keep that serum going. And now if I had flares, we would do oh so much, but we don't have flares. So we need to use those ice shields and just wait for that back engine room to go down as I try and tap and throw a speed serum, but nothing is coming out, of course. And then that middle engine room goes before that back left. Did we win? Did we lose? We lost. So starting, and by the way, shout out to Rakesh. Rakesh, great player that I run into infrequently because he's usually ranked above me. So getting some wins moving towards 17. And critter cannons are a lot easier to use than rainmakers, but yesterday in my video, I just couldn't tell you guys to use critter cannons because they're just so far away for the average player, me included. And the idea of telling people to not use flares and not get zookas, the only way I could get them yesterday was to not use flares, and not using flares is not something I like to recommend. And also I had to not use zookas, and so really wasn't sure if just straight up using only what are those things called, scorchers, was going to be viable. I just made up a new word there. And it turns out it was, which is super handy. And this is where I'm not sure if using shocks is actually worthwhile, but I'm just a bit afraid of that shock launcher wrecking all of our fun. And now I'm going to get these guys chucking a little bit more because I need something on that left-hand side, because that bunch of shock mines is going to slow us down more than I would have liked. And that shock launcher as well. So 3 engine room bases, typically much quicker than that, but this base is standing strong. So if you're looking for a decent base, do consider using this one. You don't actually need this shock launcher. Most people don't have it. And then that shock mine is hidden behind that cannon. So I'll pick things up in case you want to see it. This is made by, I believe, Hurricane. And then I think it was used by Asper or Asper or whatever the heck that name is. Not entirely sure. But 2 very different metas. And if you're struggling to start the season, just know that you can just straight up use Scorchers. We're going to send you over there. We're going to send you up the middle, and then 1, 2, 3, and then 1, 2, and maybe let's put you over here. And I'm about to lose a bunch of critter cannons, so let's get that out as well, just to try to keep it from being shot out of the sky. You could tell that all of that boom cannon was still pointing where I didn't want it to point, and that's why I threw that crystal shield, just to try to keep some of my good friends alive as our critters just clear all of the things. Did I just call them critters or clitters? I have a bit of a problem with that. Nonetheless, we have got many critters working their way towards that shock launcher, and not sure if we're going to be able to get onto that engine room in a decent amount of time, but 3 minutes and 11 seconds. That, I feel like there needs to be, like, there's arguments from people who don't know F1s that say that there shouldn't be thousandths on the timing. I feel like there needs to be tenths, because that was a long second. There are times where you get a very long second where it's at like 3 minutes and 11, then it ticks over, and sometimes it just goes like 3:11, 3:10. It's just like instantly gone. I'm not sure if that's just the UI and it's super accurate behind the scenes, but it feels like I have won some battles that way and I have lost some battles that way. Regardless, this is the last hit of this video, hopefully pushing towards 17. We shall find out. Just a matter of putting the time in. And this season, more than any other season, I was super tempted to only play one account. I don't know, I see like a bunch of you guys moving towards playing a second account, but I feel like in my future it's going to be one account. So do let me know in the comments if this second tech option is helpful, or if it's too late because it's day 2, or if it's just interesting to see and you don't really care, because it's just a strange one this time. Okay, you're going to go up the middle. You're going to go up there. And then all of you guys, 1, 2, 3, 4 over there. And then 1, 2 over here. You guys get chucking over there. And this is the beautiful thing about having all of this spare GBE. Suddenly I can throw 2 of these things, which is beyond amazing. Before I could only throw 1 speed serum at a time, and now suddenly I can throw 2, and my goodness, is that ever fantastic. And now we just need to get a bunch of these guys going. I think we're going to be able to just clear all of the things towards that back one. Need 1 more speed serum, and then we should be absolutely golden. We're going to hit a couple shock mines in the process, but I feel like we've got enough critters going that we should be able to get a halfway decent time. And that was a shorter second, it felt like, but maybe, I don't know. Anyways, we got 310. So burning through the bases. And speaking of burning through the bases, here we go. So Scorcher with Zooka, and this is where they get all sorts of benefit out of the actual zookas. And I did not have zookas or flares, so all Scorchers. Those bases on the 3 engine room level that had 3 shock launchers at the back, those are the bases that beat me every time, because my Scorchers would just bunch up and it would absolutely and utterly, I'm doing it. We're doing the boss battle. You have to, don't you? I mean, it's boss battle, it's win streak, it's YouTube. 3 negatives probably make a negative based on some math courses I've taken in my life, but you never know. Maybe my negative attitude makes a 4th negative and we end up in the win into 17, and it would be rad to have you guys come along for that. So we shall find out if we can get a match. And this is the base. Like yesterday, I copied a base off some random player and I lost down to like 14 almost. And so if you lose a couple in a row, have a look around, reach out, phone a friend. Such a big difference a base can make. And see, like nothing is going to go to that back engine room unless I get that drop perfect, which worries me a lot bit. It's just every single time I screw it up. So we're going to try not to screw it up this time. I'm going to go something like that. I would love to hear your theories on why that happens, because I just can't get it to work for whatever reason. I don't think that any of those critter cannons are going to turn left, which is going to be very, very, very disheartening, but maybe one of them will, and I'll get a bunch of critters to go left, and all things will be happy in the world. And so what I'm going to do is I'm just going to spam the critters into that back section and hope that I can get rid of all of this stuff. And you see, it just doesn't turn left. It almost never does for me. I don't know what it is about where I'm putting my troops, but we're just going to have to rush all of these guys around the corner and then just hope that we can get that down in a decent time with a shock. And I got 3-9, probably not enough to get into 17. It happens every time. Maybe the fact they didn't go to 17. Oh, look at that. We did. So that's the biggest question for me at the second. Without flares, is it... That's fantastic. Love that. Is it a pixel perfect drop that you need on that left-hand side? Do you need to like that's where I'm not sure. Like, because the box goes boom. What is that from? So I don't know if you need to like drop along this line or along this line or in this 1 pixel right here. Let me know what the heck it is, because I would love to hear that from you guys. I will do some more experimentation, see if I can find out for you. But if you have the answer, please do let me know. And that's where flares would be kinda handy. Even just to be able to throw a flare. I wouldn't want to flare this engine room, because then all my troops from over here are going to come that way. They're going to come that way. But if you can do a side flare like here to experiment, or up in here or over here, just to experiment to see what would get them shooting, especially if you've already lost a battle. And by the way, check that out. Little bit of a message in the bottle on the ramp. I don't think I've ever seen that on the actual live game, only on the dev build. Anyways, enough of that business. Thank you for coming in, liking, sharing, subscribing, worshipping, mega crabbing. And I need to spend some of this gold. I don't know how I have not been rated. Do keep an eye out for a Shockaneer video. I love Shockaneers. They are one of the strongest prototype troops. I know many people don't agree on that, but my goodness, can they be fun. And I, from the Mega Crab, had 0 powder. Now I have 260 plus another 160 in crystals that I'm easily able to burn through. You can see by my shards that I just can't use them in time, so getting those crystals is super, super useful for me. Anyways, Mega Crab success, Warship success. Comment down below, let me know your success. I'll talk to you soon. Thanks for coming in. Peace.